Adultery, justice and mercy in Islam versus Christianity. Adultery, the act of violating marital bonds through extramarital relationships, is universally condemned across religious and ethical systems. Both Islam and Christianity treat it as a grave sin, but their approaches to addressing, punishing, and forgiving adultery differ in significant ways. The balance between justice and mercy lies at the heart of these differences, reflecting the unique theological frameworks of each faith. Adultery in Islam, justice and accountability. In Islam, adultery is considered a major sin, zina, with severe consequences for both the individual and society. The Quran explicitly prohibits extramarital relationships, emphasizing the sanctity of marriage and family as foundational pillars of Islamic society. Surah Al-Isra states, "And do not approach unlawful sexual intercourse. Indeed, it is ever an immorality and is evil as a way." 1732. The punishment for adultery in Islamic law, or Sharia, is stringent and rooted in a commitment to justice. For married individuals found guilty of adultery, the Quran prescribes flogging or stoning, rajm, under specific conditions. However, the evidentiary requirements to establish guilt are extraordinarily strict, requiring the testimony of 4 trustworthy eyewitnesses who directly observed the act. This high evidentiary standard reflects a dual focus, upholding justice while safeguarding against false accusations. At the same time, Islam places significant emphasis on repentance and divine mercy. If an individual sincerely repents for their actions and seeks forgiveness, the door to redemption remains open. The Quran reassures believers, "But whoever repents after his wrongdoing and reforms, indeed, Allah will turn to him in forgiveness. Indeed, Allah is forgiving and merciful." 539. This dual framework underscores the balance between societal justice and individual spiritual redemption. Adultery in Christianity, mercy and redemption. Christianity also condemns adultery, considering it a violation of God's commandments and the sacred covenant of marriage. The 10 Commandments explicitly state, "You shall not commit adultery," Exodus chapter 20 verse 14. Jesus reinforced this moral principle, extending it beyond physical acts to include thoughts and intentions, as seen in Matthew chapter 5 verse 28. "But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart." Unlike Islam, Christianity does not prescribe legal punishments for adultery. Instead, it focuses on repentance, forgiveness, and moral transformation. Jesus' response to the adulterous woman in John chapter 8 verse 111 epitomizes this approach. When the Pharisees brought a woman accused of adultery to him, seeking her condemnation, Jesus replied, "Let any one of you who is without sin be the first to throw a stone at her." This powerful moment underscores Christianity's emphasis on mercy, forgiveness, and introspection over retributive justice. Christianity's emphasis on mercy is deeply tied to the concept of grace. Adulterers, like all sinners, are encouraged to seek forgiveness through faith in Jesus Christ. The New Testament teaches that no sin is beyond redemption, and sincere repentance leads to reconciliation with God. This perspective highlights the transformative power of mercy in addressing human failings. Comparing justice and mercy. Both Islam and Christianity condemn adultery and uphold the sanctity of marriage, yet their methods of addressing the sin reflect different theological priorities. Islam's legal framework seeks to balance justice with compassion, setting high evidentiary standards to protect individuals while providing avenues for repentance. Christianity, on the other hand, places a stronger emphasis on mercy and personal redemption, focusing on spiritual transformation rather than legal penalties. A key difference lies in their treatment of adultery as a societal versus individual concern. In Islam, adultery is seen as a crime that disrupts social harmony, necessitating clear legal consequences under specific conditions. Christianity, however, treats adultery primarily as a personal sin against God and one's spouse, with a focus on spiritual healing and reconciliation. Conclusion. The approaches of Islam and Christianity to adultery illustrate their broader frameworks of justice and mercy. Islam's teachings highlight the importance of societal order and accountability, tempered by opportunities for repentance and divine forgiveness. Christianity emphasizes the transformative power of mercy, extending forgiveness to all who genuinely seek it. Both perspectives underscore the gravity of adultery while offering pathways to redemption, demonstrating that justice and mercy are not mutually exclusive but integral to the moral vision of each faith.